Well, hey, Gundam fans, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. Today we're going to be looking at something that's not talked about too often, and that is MS IGLOO. Now, this is a series of CGI episodes, really, three series of 3 episodes, just about, that actually take place during the 1-year war. Now, not only from the start, but to the end, and you kind of see a lot of the world building that occurs. Now, I'll say in the middle of the series, it gets a little weird. But for today's episode, we're going to focus on episode 1 of the first series called The Hidden 1-Year War. Now, something interesting about this series is it not only, it started in 2004, but when you look at it, it's just CG graphics that maybe you would see from a PS2 or something. It's right when you watch it at first, it doesn't really seem too appealing or seem that great. But to be honest, as I was watching it, it seemed there were some shots, especially if there were close-ups, where it seems like they really did a lot of rendering, that they really made it look really well done. And in fact, it kind of grew on me. I kind of like it. It kind of makes the mobile suit battle or any kind of that weaponry fighting that was occurring, it gave it a little more oomph that you don't normally get from a cartoon, even though you do. But that is usually something that's reserved for live action or fully CGI animation. So the first episode is called The Vanishing Serpent of Loum. It takes place, if you notice, in 0079, but January 4th. I guess it's the date I'm filming this, so that is kind of a coincidence. But this is early on in the 1-year war, so we can kind of see what was going on. And that's kind of the point of this part of the series is there's Zeon weaponry being developed, like mobile suits, but then there's also other battle weapons that the Principality of Zeon already had. And I guess they have this special team, this special kind of weapons team that is kind of brought together to kind of start using these weapons, these prototype weapons on special missions in order to, one, see if they can complete the mission, but to see if any of these weapons are really operational. I mean, an opening shot, this looks great. The depth of field, the lighting. I mean, this impressed me. So yeah, we're looking at this evaluation support ship, Jotunheim. So this is the name of the ship that is probably central to our characters in the first part of this series, where, yeah, they are kind of in charge or just responsible for all these different types of weaponry that we'll see being used. All right, and like with most Mobile Suit Gundam, there is a opening and it's got a song. As it stands, it's probably at the bottom of my list of favorite Gundam openings. I wouldn't even say it's a favorite. It's there. It's cool, I guess. The logo is really interesting. MS IGLOO. I mean, and even looking at this is still the opening and kind of this title card, it really looks like I'm about to play a PS2 game or some Japanese game from the late 90s, early 2000s. All right, and this opening is important because it spells out things that are occurring, because it says UC111, humans began colonizing space. The calendar was changed to the Universal Century Era. So what's kind of cool in a way with this is you're kind of getting that background information that really is what the original Mobile Suit Gundam is all about. And so while it goes through the whole timeline, the main thing here at the end is the Principality of Zeon announced a state of national mobilization. So that's really what kind of then kicks off the 1-year war. So this is where we meet the 603rd Technical Evaluation Unit Engineering Lieutenant Oliver May. I like how he's like, space is supposed to feel vast, so then why do space noids feel as if we're being suffocated? And I kind of like the feeling of that, because out in space, even though it's vast, there's emptiness, and you seem to be confined to wherever you can survive, because you're not on Earth, so you have to be in a craft or something that has a life system available. So shots were fired from some Federation ships. It missed. They said thanks to the Minovsky particles, and I like how I was like, were we traced from the dispersed concentration? Because they had to disperse some Minovsky particles to make it hard to really be able to target weapons onto another ship. So I kind of like how the dialogue is also doing the world building. For those that really enjoy space combat, before you even get into any of the mobile suits, this show really does have a lot of cool space combat. All right, that was a bit too much. The staff aboard the Jotunheim is bickering about whether they should be fighting the Salams-class cruisers from the Earth Federation, and while that occurred, one of the Zeon vessels got destroyed, the Papau, I believe that's what it's called. So that didn't really work out. And here we meet Monique Cadillac. And so, yeah, what a name. It's one of those that's not hard to pronounce, but it's quite the name. So we got some special operations and technical evaluation division personnel joining. And so this is kind of what reinforces the group that will be using these prototype weapons, before the mobile suit became standard. And so I guess this ship is in trouble, or its captain, for planning to depart without checking the wreckage. And I guess the captain didn't want to check the wreckage of the ship that was destroyed, just because they didn't want to, I guess, get caught and blasted out of the sky or out of space. So his name is Martin Prochnov, I think. So in this scene, we're quickly introduced to the QCX 76A Jormungand. It was a prototype Zeon fleet battle cannon. So yeah, this is just a weapon that the Principality of Zeon had developed. This was before mobile suits really became standard. And the idea is we see Oliver May speaking to a commander in Zeon, saying, he'll be part of that, the 603rd Technical Evaluation Unit, in order to use this weapon, and yeah, just see how it goes. But they all seem to feel like it's doomed. Like, even he seems apologetic, or that commander, for giving him the mission. And he is, on one hand, it seems surprised in a frightening way, but also excited. Yeah, and here it is, shown again. They're like looking at it on the screen and talking about it. And they're saying that it's able to shoot a Magellan-class ship down in one hit. Now they're told to change their course because something's entering their area of operation. And we see here a colony on its way to being dropped. So if you're familiar with the opening shot, and what's kind of used throughout Gundam, but the opening shot of 0079 is the colony that drops and hits Sydney. So yeah, they're calling out Operation British. That is the name of the operation. 72 hours until it will be dropped on Earth. So I think by now you can get, this is a cool perspective of this point in the 1 Year War, before the events of Mobile Suit Gundam, of what different branches within the Principality of Zeon, or Zeon military, are going through. So not only are there mobile suit weapons being developed, but we have this like experimental team that's working on special technical weapons, but then also a colony is headed to be dropped on Earth. So the Principality of Zeon's going all out. And then I like just seeing from the point of view of people from Zeon is they think it's crazy themselves. And then Miss Cadillac is just like, hey, a surprise attack is a standard move to open hostilities. That's crazy. Really cool shots here, because really they're setting out to Loum, the battle that we hear about that Char's in. Really cool shots, just looking at the ships and how they're doing the effects here and the depth of field. Again, I love these shots here, but I like how they called the Operation British the outcome unsatisfactory. So they sent out a fleet to Side 5 to carry out the second Operation British. And then here we see the launch of the Jormungand, I guess getting it all prepared for battle. And early on, we met Alexandro Hem, who was on the, wanting to fire and fight back to kind of defend the Musai. And I guess, yeah, he's actually in charge of firing on the Jormungand. Very cool shot with that red Zeon ship. All right, and then a jump in time. So it's 10:45 at the Loum province. So yeah, let's see what happens here. That looks sick. Look at all that. Look at that shot. And I like how throughout this they have, when the monitors are underneath, it looks like kind of grainy older footage that you'd see on like a CRT, some sort of feed, a video that has a lot of interference. But really they're all sitting back and they're like waiting for instructions of where to fire. And they're just watching that battle ensue and all those ships be destroyed. It misses, but it seems to, I guess, due to the plasma, the nature of the plasma, it kind of picks up, and maybe through gravity or some electromagnetism is pulling that cruiser. Lots of destruction. And so the Oliver May and the other guy go out on this craft, I guess, to kind of get some observational data so they can then let the Jormungand know where it can fire. Oh, and what's this? The mobile suit's heading into battle. And look who we have here. So yeah, Char in his red Zaku 2, communicates with the team, letting them know, hey, I'm in charge here. Mobile suits are part of the plan. And then, yeah, showing the mobile suits just go in there and decimate. I mean, this is why you watch MS IGLOO, because it's showing some angles of the battle you haven't seen anywhere else. So the team is pretty bummed out. I mean, they see with the mobile suits coming in that really they weren't needed. They had low expectations for them anyway. It was really just, hey, let's get some people, let's gather some people up. Maybe they're considered low tier within the Zeon military, but whatever weapons we have, because remember, they're sending out they sent the colony down. This is Operation British 2. Now they have all these mobile suits. And so with the special team that was sent out with that Jormungand weapon, and it got to a point where they weren't even giving them the firing instructions because really the mobile suits had it under control. So it just really shows how much Zeon was just throwing everything they can out there and then really only focusing on what was working. And as he's complaining, some missiles come by and destroy the Jormungand. And so there's a Federation ship headed toward the Jormungand, and I guess it's going to further destroy it, because I guess they were asking them to retreat, but the main dude, that Alexandro is too injured. So they're actually sending out a rescue crew to get him. Takes one last shot. Wow, really destroys that thing. And with the end credits, we get Oliver May kind of, I guess, writing in his journal, or maybe it's after action report of, what happened, just saying that they didn't really give a chance for the Jormungand to really change the tide of battle here. Anyway, so that was it for the first episode of MS IGLOO, The Hidden One-Year War. I mean, really, again, the thing I liked about it is the point of view, the aspect of the war compared to what we've seen in other Universal Century. So we get to see like the Zakus and the Red Comet in action. But we're also seeing divisions that are working with completely other different weaponry, different plans of battle to try to take back or to take over the Earth sphere. And, the thing holding it back, I guess, going back to Gundam in general, the animation, especially if you want to go back and watch older Gundam, the animation might hold people back. Anime or anime in general might hold people back, but even this type of PS2 CGI can hold people back. But I got to say, it's worth sticking through. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. There's a giveaway going on. There's a link in the video description below for another video that actually describes how to enter the giveaway. So we'll talk later.